All right, let's dive into something pretty amazing, your own body. We're talking endocrine and digestive systems today, those behind-the-scenes crews that keep everything
And
running.
they might seem totally separate, right? Like two different departments, but we're going to uncover how these two systems are constantly high-fiving, working together to impact everything, energy levels, how you handle stress. It's wild.
Okay, so no isolated silos here. It's all connected. I love that. And our source material starts us off with this visual roadmap of the endocrine system. It's really something to see all these glands spread throughout the body. What's the first thing you notice when you see this?
The connections, it's like this giant communication network, but instead of emails or calls, you've got these powerful chemical messengers, hormones.
Like tiny little texts zooming through your bloodstream, delivering instructions. That's hormones in a nutshell. We're talking growth hormone, thyroid hormone, insulin, estrogen, testosterone. These are like the VIPs of the body's internal messaging system.
Exactly. And here's the thing, even the tiniest amount can create huge changes. It's like the butterfly effect, but on a molecular level.
Okay, that is wild. Size isn't everything, right? And speaking of small but mighty, our source material zooms in on the pituitary gland, and this little guy is a total powerhouse. Pea-sized, tucked away at the base of the brain, but it's calling the shots for growth, metabolism, stress response, even reproduction.
It's fascinating if the brain's the CEO, right? The pituitary is the COO, making sure every department's in sync.
Love that. CEO's got the big vision, and the pituitary's down in the trenches making it happen. Now let's get into some of those instructions being relayed. Our source material talks about thyroxine, produced by the thyroid. This one really impacts our day-to-day lives, right?
Big time. Thyroxine regulates your metabolism, how well your body converts food into energy.
And here's a fun fact. It even affects how fast you burn calories. So yeah, this tiny hormone plays a big role in your energy throughout the day.
It really makes you think about the power of a healthy thyroid, right? And speaking of healthy, our source material highlights iodine super important.
Hmm.
Without enough, our bodies can't make enough thyroxine.
Good reminder to check your salt. It often has iodine added. But the thyroid isn't done there, is it? It's also busy with calcium.
Right. Our source material points to another hormone, calcitonin. It's like a calcium traffic controller, making sure the right amount's going to your bones and blood.
Keeping those bones strong, that's so important. Good reminder that hormone imbalances have real consequences. Which, speaking of, let's talk fight or flight. Adrenaline and cortisol.
That's a power duo. Produced by the adrenal glands, they kick in when we're stressed. Adrenaline gives you that energy surge, heart rate up, blood pressure up, getting you ready to fight or flee.
You ever narrowly avoid an accident, that rush? That's adrenaline, our body's ancient alarm system in action.
Exactly. Short bursts, it's amazing. But chronic stress keeps those levels high, and that's not so great long term.
Which brings us to cortisol, the stress hormone. Our source material shows its structure, which is cool, but how does it affect us day to day?
Cortisol's huge in our stress response. It also regulates metabolism and even memory formation, like the body's multitasker. But chronically high levels, sleep problems, weakened immune system, it's a balancing act.
It makes you wonder how your own stress is affecting your cortisol, right? So we've got these hormones, these tiny messages, but how do they know where to go, what to do?
Think target cells, like little mailboxes, each with an address for a specific hormone. The hormone finds its match, binds to it, boom, triggers an action in the cell.
A whole lock and key system, making sure the right messages get through. Amazing. And you know what's cool? Our digestive system source highlights how those hormonal messages are busy in our gut too, affecting how fast food moves, how much stomach acid.
Oh yeah, it's the two-way street. Endocrine system sends its memos, but the gut's talking back to the brain too. Hunger signals, even mood.
Wait, my stomach's telling my brain when to snack. That's wild. Our source material mentions ghrelin, the hunger hormone, produced right in the stomach, right?
Yep. Think of it like your stomach saying, yo, brain, fuel me up. Hence, those hunger pangs.
Ghrelin's the feed me friend. What about when we're full? Something hits the brakes.
There is leptin. Made by fat cells, it's ghrelin's opposite. More like, hey, we're good down here, put the fork down.
The voice of reason. It's amazing how our bodies manage appetite without us even knowing.
It's a system. And it's not just hunger. Hormones are key in how we use nutrients from food, too.
Right. Break down the food. Then hormones direct the traffic, making sure those nutrients get used. Our nutrition source talks about insulin, big one, from the pancreas, right?
Huge. It regulates blood sugar, like a key, unlocking cells so glucose can get in and give us energy.
Backstage pass for those glucose molecules. But what if there's not enough insulin? Or it's not working right.
Blood sugar goes out of whack. Not enough insulin, glucose builds up in the blood. That's hyperglycemia, a big part of diabetes.
And too much insulin. Blood sugar plummets. That shaky, hangry feeling, like you skipped a meal.
Exactly. Shows how important that balance is. But insulin's not alone. Our source material mentions glucagon, another pancreatic hormone.
Okay, so if insulin lowers blood sugar, glucagon raises it.
Bingo. It's like the backup energy. Blood sugar dips low, glucagon swoops in, raises it by using stored glucose. Reserve tank.
Insulin and glucagon working together. A finely tuned thermostat keeping our cells fueled. But got to break down that food first, right? Digestive system time.
Absolutely. It's fascinating how it happens. Our source shows a visual, and honestly, it's quite a journey food takes. From our mouths. Well, you know.
It's a ride. And along the way, our bodies are working to get those nutrients, breaking down those big food molecules into stuff our bodies can actually use.
And it starts right away chewing. Sounds simple, but that mechanical breakdown is super important for good digestion.
Like pre-chopping veggies makes everything easier later.
Exactly. And while we chew, saliva joins in. Over a liter a day, did you know that?
Wow, no way. Saliva, the unsung hero. It's not just moistening, it's got enzymes breaking down carbs right there.
Right. Amylase is one, breaks those starches into simpler sugars, jumpstart on the whole process.
So we've got mechanical chewing and chemical enzymes.
Yeah.
Teamwork. But then the stomach. That's where things get real.
Oh yeah, the stomach's where the party starts. Like this high-powered mixer churning and breaking down food with incredible force.
Powerful. So it's getting tossed around in this gastric juice, but what's in that stuff anyway? Is it just stomach acid doing all the work?
Stomach acid's key, for sure. It creates that super acidic environment, perfect for breaking down proteins. Actually, our source mentions pepsin, this enzyme that gets activated by the acid and goes to town on those protein molecules.
Pepsin sounds tough, but eventually it all has to, move along. What's next on the digestive journey?
Right, so from the stomach, the food, this creamy mixture called chyme heads to the small intestine. That's where nutrient absorption really kicks into gear.
Our source material describes it as this crazy, long, folded tube. It even talks about villi, and microvilli sounds kind of sci-fi. What are those all about?
Picture tiny little fingers lining the walls. That's villi and microvilli, and they create tons of surface area. Like imagine a sponge, all those holes. It can soak up so much more than a flat surface, right?
So instead of smooth walls, it's like millions of tiny fingers grabbing nutrients as they go by. That's wild. Such a cool design.
Evolution's pretty neat, huh? And that's how we get all those essential vitamins, minerals, everything our body needs gets pulled into the bloodstream right there.
Okay, so small intestine's like the ultimate grocery store, stocking up. But what about the stuff our bodies don't use? Where does that go?
Oh, and to the next aisle. Whatever's left goes to the large intestine, which is in charge of absorbing water and electrolytes from the leftovers, forming what eventually becomes.
Yeah, the less glamorous side of digestion. But important nonetheless. Our source material talks about fiber being a big helper in this process, right?
Absolutely. Fiber's like a good scrub brush, keeps things moving along smoothly. And here's a fun fact. The bacteria in our gut microbiome, they love fiber.
Hold on. Bacteria live in our gut, like all the time.
They do, and it's a good thing. They're super important for our health, immunity, mental well-being. It's all connected.
Wow, I had no idea. So eating fiber helps digestion, feeds these good bacteria, even impacts our mental health. I'm sensing a theme here. Our bodies are amazing.
They really are. And remember ADH, that hormone we talked about, it ties in here too.
Oh, right. The water conservation officer of the body.
Exactly. And guess what? The gut microbiome can actually impact how well ADH works. It's like this intricate web of interactions all influencing each other.
It's mind-blowing. We've gone from hormones to digestion to gut bacteria and back again. It really shows how everything's connected. These aren't just separate systems.
Right. It's like this intricate dance, all happening inside us all the time. And understanding how it all works, that's powerful.
It is. It makes you realize how much control we actually have.
Right.
The choices we make, what we eat, how we manage stress, it all matters.
Now you're getting it. You're in the driver's seat.
I love that. Well, on that note, I think it's time to digest all this amazing information.
Until next time.
Keep exploring and take care of your incredible interconnected self.